Hi everyone, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. It's been very quiet in terms of the world of rants. You know, the vote went Newcastle United's way. I don't seem to be really annoyed about anything. Everything seemed quite calm in the lead up to Christmas. I was getting all festive and chilled. And who would have come along and tell me a little Jackanory story? Yes, that's right. The Baron of Bacon himself is back spewing utter shite out of that hole in his face. Once again, this time to the gambling zone. Well, he is a bit of a gambler, to be fair, as old Steve Bruce. But yeah, he's been talking about Sean Longstaff. And we all know what Sean said about Steve Bruce, which I, to be honest with you, tend to believe Sean Longstaff unequivocally with his description of Steve Bruce and his shit management. I think he was terrible for Sean, being a young player at the time. Maybe, what was he, about 21, 22 or something, back when Steve Bruce inherited him, as he says, to the gambling zone. But basically, this is Steve Bruce saying that Sean Longstaff's move to Manchester United was never on the cards. But if you actually read the quotation of the piece where he's talking, it's just vintage Steve Bruce. He contradicted himself in two different sentences. So firstly, he says, I inherited Sean Longstaff at a time where a big money deal was on the cards to Manchester United. Newcastle turned down big amounts of money. And then he goes on and says, but the move to Manchester United was never there. It was never going to materialise. And he says, well, you know, I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mike Phelan, and it was never going to happen. So, I mean, for starters, just to unpack this utter fucking manure from Steve Bruce, just because he played for Manchester United, he seems to think he knows every single thing about that fucking football club. Now, who's to say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mike Phelan were even the fucking guys signing the players in the first place? Quite often, modern day football, Steve, that's right, modern day football, not 1993 football that you try to fucking play all the time. Modern day football have a committee of people signing players, a committee of people scouting players and putting players together in a list to put to the board of directors, the footballing director, who then takes it to the manager. So how the fuck do you know that Sean Longstaff wasn't on that list of that board and that committee of Manchester United before they even spoke to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who subsequently lost his job a few months after Sean Longstaff was reportedly linked to the football club? Now, Sean was linked when Rafa Benitez was the manager, and Rafa Benitez left in July, and then this fucking oaf came in and took over the job. We all know how that went. He ruined pretty much every player that he had. If you look at the wonders that Eddie Howe has performed at Newcastle United in his 2-year spell here, transformations to Joe Linton, who was here under Steve Bruce, Miguel Almiron, who was here under Steve Bruce, Fabian Schär, who Steve Bruce deemed as not necessary for the squad. He was going to send him packing just like he did Florian Lejeune, and Sean Longstaff, who's turned into an integral part of this football team. This fucking classless wank can't even let Sean Longstaff, get stuff off of his chest. He's been very vocal about how Steve Bruce's mood and his lack of management and his lack of people skills really made Sean feel in a really dark place. Now, Steve Bruce comes from an old fucking bygone era where they think mental health is like a fucking headache or something. You take a couple of pills for it and it'll shift in the morning. That's not what happens, Steve Bruce. Mental health can weigh heavy on people, and fucking credit to Sean Longstaff for being brave enough to open up and talk about it. But it's old archaic dinosaur fuckwits like you that make it hard for players like Sean Longstaff to talk about his feelings, to open up about his feelings. It takes young, articulate, fresh managers like Eddie Howe to undo all the fucking Mike Bassett-esque shit that you put onto this football club. Why are these podcasters and media outlets giving this fucking tired old has-been airtime? Why are you doing it? Why are you letting him spew bollocks out the front of his face? Nobody clearly wants him as a manager anymore. They've woken up, they've smelt the fucking coffee, and they've realised the guy is utterly fucking clueless, which is why he's not going to get another managerial post. He might get some fucking shitty international job for some fucking far-gone island on the other end of the world that don't even know who the fuck he is. And then as soon as he comes in, they'll all be looking at each other going, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Because he's an idiot, he's a has-been, he's done. He doesn't belong in the football stratosphere anymore. There's a chair waiting for him at Talk Sport, sitting waiting with Brucey on it from Alan Brazil probably. He's a fucking moron. But not only is he a moron, he's got no class whatsoever to talk about Sean Longstaff in such a regard. He said, what did he say? He said he needed to mature a bit when we had him. Of course he did, you fucking arsehole. He was 21 years old. That's your job as a manager, to help him mature, to help develop him not only as a player, but as a person in the game as well. And you did neither. You ruined the lad's game. You ruined his fucking brother's game. That's why his career is going to have to be reignited away from Newcastle United, even after he come in and saved your ass in a couple of games against Manchester United. This guy is such a fucking wank. I can't wait to see the back of this has-been bacon soaked twat. I just wish people would stop giving him the fucking airtime that they are. But he shows straight away he's got zero class whatsoever. He turns around and says, well, you know, it's not a given if they like you as a manager. I don't expect everybody to like us, you know. Of course they don't like you. You're an arsehole. Look at the way you were towards the fans, segregating the fans, throwing out hyperbole, you know, stoking the flames, the way you were to some journalists just for asking you normal fucking questions, you know, combative, aggressive, on the front foot. You're a fucking dick, Steve Bruce. Nobody wants you back in a football club. We don't want you back in the world of football. Please, for the love of Christ, people, stop giving this arsehole airtime, because it really fucking winds anybody with half a degree of common sense up. The guy's a failure. He's a fucking serial failure. He was great as a player. He's shit as a manager. Go look at his records. It stinks bigger than that turd from Jurassic Park. Stop giving the guy airtime. But he turns around and then he ends it. Typical Steve Bruce. He basically sticks the boot in, accuses Sean of maybe not being what he needed to be, and then he goes, well, I've been nothing but impressed with him, you know. He always tries to end it on a positive, Steve, so people find him endearing and charming. I don't fall for that shit. I see the arsehole you are. A lot of people do as well. So please, people, stop giving this prick airtime. Sean Longstaff has moved on in his career. He's a better player, and I'm sure a better person for not having Steve Bruce in his life, like every other player in that squad is as well. And every time he opens his fucking fat mouth, he just reminds me how brilliant Eddie Howe is. But that's my thoughts on that. Very ranty. I'm sure Mark's got the F-bomb counter lined up for this as well. But fucking Steve Bruce winds me up no end, honestly. The day I don't hear from that stupid has-been tit will be the best day in football media. So that's me done for my rant, guys. If this is the kind of thing you like, smash the button, come and subscribe. We're so close to 6k. If you like these rants, smash that button, help get us over 6k. It'd be great to get there for Christmas. Like the video to help the channel grow. It's all free content, but if you do want to give a little bit back to the channel, there's a $1.99 members only option there. You get exclusive early access to these videos, to these rants, so you can hear me swearing my head off before everybody else does, if you fancy a bit of that. Smash whatever button suits you. Have a cracking day wherever you are, except you, Steve Bruce. Piss off. No one wants to hear your shit anymore. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.